What's up, everyone? It's Hudson Funk here, and today I want to talk about the mustard seed and how Jesus compared it to the kingdom of heaven and why he did that and the significance of it. And before I get into that, I just want to say thank you for all the support, all the comments, all the prayers, all the subscribers. Just I pray that these videos continue to help you, and this is all for God's glory. This is not for my glory. So I pray that you can just comment anything you want me to talk about and fully understand, and any prayer you got, I'll pray for you. So thank you, and let's get into it. I'm going to be in two passages today, Matthew 13:32 and Matthew 17:20, if you want to follow along and read in context. But for some more context, in Jesus' time, the mustard seed was always referenced to something that was very small or little, and it's actually 0.05 inches small, or 1 to 2 millimeters. Like, that is how small this mustard seed is. Starting in Matthew 13:31, going on to 32 as well, it says, "He put another parable before them," Jesus, "saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field." 32, "It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is larger than the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches." So if you actually look it up, does a mustard seed grow into a tree? It doesn't. And that's not the whole significance and the whole point Jesus was pointing to here, that it becomes a tree. When a mustard seed grows, it doesn't look like the traditional tree we think of, like with bark and big branches, but it becomes huge compared to other garden plants. And this thing could get up to 15 feet tall and wide. The average is about 3 to 10 feet wide and tall, but this thing can get huge, which makes it look like a tree. And to other garden plants, it basically is a tree. This is a very well-known seed in the East, and it's actually considered a weed by most people because of how fast this thing can grow and spread. So Jesus says a tree because under certain conditions with a mustard seed, it can grow into a tree-like bush. So why am I making this video today? Why am I talking about this stupid little mustard seed? I'm doing this because Jesus compares it, the small little mustard seed that is so small and insignificant and humble, to the kingdom of heaven. And he does this because just like that mustard seed, so was Christ, and so was the kingdom of heaven in the church. Jesus, born in a little manger, had humble beginnings, surrounded by animals and poop, the lowest of the low. But when that mustard seed is planted, but when we spread the gospel and when we advance Christ's kingdom, it can spread to so far out. And those roots can go so deep, and it can be like a weed spreading to people. And the Holy Spirit can move in ways that you can never imagine. So we must never limit God. And we must have this mustard seed-like faith that when rooted, it spreads to other people. And it spreads farther than you can ever imagine. And it doesn't just sit with us. It doesn't just remain that small little mustard seed, but it grows. Then we see in Matthew 17:19-20, "Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said to him, 'Why could we not cast it out?'" Meaning the demon in this little boy that came to the disciples and they couldn't cast it out. So the father came to Jesus kneeling before him, "Hey, cast this demon out of my son, heal him." And immediately Jesus healed him and cast the demon out. So his disciples said this, like, "Hey, why can't we cast it out?" And in verse 20, Jesus said, "Because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Some translations say it is because of their unbelief that they did not cast it out. So I think what Jesus is really saying is, if you have that small of a mustard seed of faith, God can work with it, and you can do miracles with it. But it shouldn't remain that way after it's rooted, because after it's rooted, it should spread just like a mustard seed to everyone else. While I wholeheartedly believe that God can work with that size of faith, and he can do miracles and many things with a little small faith like a mustard seed, I think he doesn't want it to stay that small seed, though. He wants it to grow and reach other people, which is our goal for this earth, to reach other people. So let your light shine today. Let your light go out into the earth and reach other people like a mustard seed does when it is planted.